You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Wednesday, April 6th, 2022. This week we are talking about the sin of greed, which is when we love or focus on money and possessions too much. We've talked about why it is just unhealthy for us, but we've also talked about why it is a sin. Because when we are greedy, we no longer look to God to provide for us. We give in to worry and we refuse to trust. So today, let's look to the example of Jesus Christ. What did he say about money and possessions, about how important they are? And so let's think about this. What example does Jesus give us on the topic of greed? Well, first of all, think about the parents that he selected to be his parents, and also the place where he was born. Mary and Joseph were not rich. We know that when they brought Jesus to the temple, they offered only 2 pigeons, which is what poor people offered at the temple. We also know that they didn't have a place to stay when they arrived in Bethlehem, and Jesus was born in a barn. When they left that area and returned back to Nazareth, we know that Joseph worked hard to support his family as a carpenter or laborer, and that Jesus joined him in that work. So he purposely did not join a rich family. He joined a poor family. Jesus also spoke often about blessed are the poor, blessed are the poor. So Jesus shows us that money and possessions, they don't mean very much to him, and they really shouldn't mean very much to us. The tricky thing is that most of us listening today, we live in the world. We need to have jobs and houses, money to buy food and clothing. We need those things. Religious people, like priests and monks and sisters, oftentimes they take a vow of poverty. Sometimes they don't own anything at all, and they live off of donations. And that's wonderful. It's a beautiful example. But as a mother and father or a child in a family, you haven't been called to that. So we need money, but we need to be very careful about how we look at that money, how we use it, the way that we hold on to it. Mary and Joseph also, they needed money to live. Joseph got paid for what he did or paid for the objects that he made. They used that money to buy food or animals. So money is something that we need. It's very likely something that Jesus handled and used himself. We should not reject money or possessions. We just need to be careful about the way that we use them. Jesus was generous. Jesus thought of other people, and he never put his trust in money. Never put his trust in money. He put his trust in God. When he was born that night in Bethlehem, he was born to poor parents, and yet they trusted everything would be as God had promised. And so, Sprouts, let's just reflect a little bit more on Jesus and how he really did live a life of poverty. He rejected greed. He used money, but he did not put his trust in money. My challenge for you today is to say an Our Father with the people that you are with and really think about these words. These are the words that Jesus taught his apostles when they were to pray, to say these words. And these are just great words of really trusting that God will provide for us. He will provide what we need, our food, everything that we need. So just rejecting the sin of greed and instead trusting in God the Father. That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God created you to be. Just one more thing, if you are doing some Easter basket prep, we encourage you to come and shop the Catholic Sprouts store. It's a great, great way to support this podcast and also to get some fun Catholic goodies for the kids that you love. Our favorite to be included in the Easter basket is the Adoration board book for little ones, or the book of Catholic saint patterns for perler beater cross stitch for older kids. You can find direct links to both of these books in the notes for this podcast episode.
This show is a production of the Spoke Street Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.